Salutations. Hopefully, y'all is well. I have some interesting videos for y'all today. If you do like them, please like, comment your thoughts, and if you are new here, subscribe. Now let's jump down this rabbit hole.
You have to ask yourself, what Pandora's box would a new physical insight? You have to ask yourself, what Pandora's box would a new physical insight potentially open? And I don't know why we're not more worried about this. I think because we've been failing at physics for 50 years, we've gotten out of the habit of thinking physics is really dangerous and you have to track every single important physicist. Because any change in our physical understanding of the universe can unlock holy hell.
Were there actually updates in physics, maybe mid-century, that were not disclosed to the public?
Another puzzle we would love to have cleared up is an understanding of the role of aerospace companies as holders of potentially basic scientific knowledge not shared with the academic world. Is it possible? It seems very wrong to me.
May be wrong, but it's true.
It is true. You believe it's true.
Yeah, I know it's true.
You know that there's physics knowledge held by aerospace companies that is not
There
known.
certainly is materials knowledge.
Materials, well, okay, material
which
science.
involves topological physics or whatever.
Okay. But fundamental physics as opposed to, condensed matter or...
Right. Certainly aerospace corporations have knowledge in the UAP area that specifically are sequestered against FOIA.
Oh,
because of proprietary
I appreciate
labels, which the whole thing was set up to be that way on purpose.
Right, but the idea that there would be fundamental physics knowledge that would be housed in an aerospace company and not shared with the physics community, there is no evidence of that.
No evidence for it, not that I know of.
And I wouldn't.
That doesn't mean it's not the case, but
That would be this crazy, egregious
it would change our entire concept of who we are if somebody kept fundamental physics secret in the years since we became capable of exploding fusion devices. Right. I would grab a pitchfork and a tiki torch and I would march on the National Science Foundation.
Right.
I still can't believe that that's true.
it would only be if it were the case that in fact we have mastered anti-gravity and they're being built by aerospace corporations, then new physics would have to be involved.
And what's crazy about that to me, I believe he's lying. I saw a video with Joe Rogan. I really don't watch too many of Joe Rogan stuff anymore. He's been quite disappointing to me personally. But I saw a clip of Joe Rogan's that passed by my timeline. And he was on there and he was talking about I've been teaching and doing all types of stuff related to physics, but I can't talk about it. Like the way he was describing it, he was like, yeah, I've been lying and I'm tired of the charade. I'm tired of just putting up this lie. So personally, I would probably say no comment. I would have never said no in line unless somebody put something to my head and say, we're going to take your soul or something. Then I'd be like, man, you know what? You got it. Certain things I might mislead people on depending on the consequences. But if there's no consequences for me saying no comment, I'm going to say no comment, me personally.
I've been shocked a lot, but he just empered that shit. You gotta cut it back on so I can take it like a man too. You gotta hold your hand there. Yeah, it's running through you. Woo. I've been shot a whole lot in my life, partner.
I've been shot 296 times.
You count?
Yeah, I've started when people started asking me 296 times.
I just had it FOMO to mine. That's the first time I've been shot purposefully. Also the first time I just sat there and held it like a dumbass. 1920s, they knew more about shit than we do now.
Yeah, we just figured it out.
This is coming in at 110 volts, 60 hertz, max 6 ampacity. What happens in here?
Drop it. Okay.
Okay, now I can understand.
This is a capacitor right here. Spinny thing that taps the thing.
Is that glass?
Yeah, don't touch it.
They're not preparing for a nuclear disaster. The elites are afraid of a geophysical event, which has to do with the weakening of the Earth's magnetic field. The magnetic poles are shifting and Earth's magnetic field is weakening at the same time. If you want to know what Earth would look like without a magnetic field, take a look at Mars. Magnetic fields protect the Earth from solar flares and other space dangers. Here's the problem. Earth's magnetic field is weakening 10 times faster now. At the current moment, we are losing 5% of our magnetic field every 10 years. In the early 2000s, scientists said we have lost 10% of the total field. The last time they brought it up was in 2010 and said it has jumped to 15%. Scientists are presuming it's currently at around 25%, which means the Earth has 75% of its strength left in the tank. This will lead to higher levels of radiation in our atmosphere the weaker the field gets. Now here's where it gets a bit crazy. This is a published, peer-reviewed model run of a solar super flare during magnetic pole shift. Everyone in the yellow would eventually die from radiation. So if you're in a yellow spot, you're cooked. And you know what country looks mighty safe? Greenland. But there are a couple safe spots in America. Now scientists believe that the people who decide to stay in these zones, it will riddle most people with cancer. If this information was announced, people would overfill and flock to the safe zones, making it harder for the rich and elite to buy up the cheap land and build their underground bunkers. Jeff Bezos owns over 400,000 acres in Texas. Texas is a safe spot. Billionaire Bill Gates recently acquired 28,000 acres in Arizona and also 20,000 acres in Nebraska. Everywhere that you see in the yellow, yes, people will become sick, but also crops won't be able to thrive with all that radiation. They're all following Edgar Cayce. He's the famous sleeping prophet. He predicted the pole shift even before it was scientifically measured. He said the pole shift would become apparent starting in 1958, and he said that it would be acknowledged in 2000 and 2001. Well, in 1958, the South Atlantic anomaly was discovered. That is a weak spot in the Earth's magnetic field that is steadily growing and is now starting to split into two separate cells. Also, currently, the North magnetic field is shifting at a speed of 32 to 50 kilometers per year. The shift rate began accelerating around 1995 to 2000. Which also aligns with his predictions. Now here's the map he created of the USA after the pole shift. It looks very similar to the map I just showed you. They're buying right into the spots that Edgar said would be
On
safe.
birthdays, you don't like birthdays?
No.
No, not into that.
No. We came here not knowing that we were going to die. Somebody told us that. And if we never knew we were going to die, we wouldn't celebrate a birthday because
But isn't it nice to celebrate the day you was born?
I'll celebrate the day I die.
Because you're going to move on to the next path in life.
Yes. Well, for example, you had how many birthdays?
Me? What do you think?
Well, I know that you had one birthday.
Yeah.
You were born
Yeah.
on a certain day.
Absolutely.
You had no more birthdays after that. So I don't celebrate birthdays, so that stops me from counting days, which stops me from counting time, which allows me to still look the same as I did 10 years ago, just like that. Obvious now that artists are supposed to own their master recordings. I mean, in the future, it'll be unconscionable to even think you can take somebody's creation and claim ownership of it. See, unfortunately, this discussion is going to start to barrel into a discussion about the human genome and the DNA and all the rest of it. When it gets there, then we're going to be in the deep water. See, so it's better to start the conversation now before we get into God talk. You know, when I was a kid, I used to see these trails in the sky all the time, and so that's cool. A jet just went over. And then you started to see a whole bunch of them. And next thing you know, everybody in your neighborhood was fighting and arguing and you didn't know why. When I found out there were 8 presidents before George Washington, I wanted to smack somebody.
It didn't have a turn radius that we would expect it to.
I truly wonder why it is true. Why would you admit the truth about there being 8 presidents before George Washington? What would be the reason? Like, just feel like it's a lot of our history that's been tampered with, things they don't want us to know as people, and some wild things going on.
Have a period to accelerate and decelerate. It just seemed to zip so quickly that it was, again, really disorienting, really confusing for us.
David said it was the WTF moment.
Yeah. Oh, there were definitely some WTFs on the radio. Not in a scared way, but like, what the is that? Like we're seeing something for the first time.
You know, some people go, what is that? And they run. And then some people see it, what is that? And they're curious. They want to get closer and closer. I wanted to get closer, see what it was.
My lead, Commander David Fravor, he says I'm in, which means that he's engaging with this thing.
We're going around, we get to about the 12 o'clock position, and this thing's still pointing north-south. The tic-tac goes and turns and starts coming up. So now it's mirroring me. Whatever it was aware that we were there. And as I come up, I can see him as he's crossing in front of me. It starts to accelerate, gets right on my nose, and disappears. For something to come off the surface of the ocean like it was moving around, to be able to just accelerate to match my speed, and then to rapidly go away, we do not possess that technology.
Strange behavior among the rich folk. I've been delivering since 2014, and I have never seen the rich folk prepping like they've been doing the last 2 months. They have buying, a lot of them have been buying dry foods, buying generators. A lot of them have been trying, getting dry foods, rice, beans, all this stuff I've been delivering. And when I delivered, they're like, oh, put in a garage. One of this other guy, he has his whole entire garage built out. And when I asked him, why is he doing it? He's just my gut feeling. So I don't know what they're being prepped for. Why are they buying so many of the, emergencies, but they're buying a lot. They're prepping, and I deliver to people who are earning million plus. Some of these houses are $2-3 million, and they're prepping for something, not to leave or go anywhere, just to stay in. They're prepping. That's highly suspicious. What do you guys think? Leave it in comment. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's so wild about that is the sheer fact that as time goes by, that robot will be more efficient than us with certain things, because a lot of people not in shape. We BS on our phones. Just the efficiency. You got to ask yourself, robot or human? I feel like it could really lead to a dystopia for a lot of us. Like the average person, if you're not the ultimate wealthy tech billionaire or something, or somebody that got some value, because you could be a billionaire, but let's just say you're a billionaire and you don't have no value. I think it's going to be levels to stuff. Like for example, if you were a billionaire because you bought into entertainment, but you didn't create, you can't tell me Elon look at every other billionaire as his equal. Hey, I wish Mr. Musk the best. Hopefully he get his stuff together. The things that I see about him, the way he doing people over there in Tennessee is crazy. But hey, as people, we got to ask ourselves, what are we gonna do? We gonna unite, or is we gonna continue this great divide? Nephilim? You know, it was wild. How many times could something like this actually happen in our past? Like some human civilization that got real events. They just said, let's start over. We wouldn't really know. They gave us the Bible, these different religions just were more control. I'm just saying, I believe in the Lord, but who knows who could be manipulating us? It's wild though.
This forbidden knowledge, you won't get this in the college. This that hidden scripture, make you see the fuller picture, but motion picture.
You think you've never cast a spell, but you're under one right now. You don't have to go to work. You go because you believe. You believe money is real. You believe the system is necessary, and your body follows whatever the mind accepts as truth. That is a spell. We've stopped questioning what we ingest. I'm not just talking about the chemical-laden food that slows the body, but frequencies. Music that normalizes emptiness. Content made not to inspire, but to program. You think this is random?
Music glorifying emptiness is a spell. Fear-driven news is a spell.
Tonight, more cities are bracing as unrest spreads. Authorities warn.
Corruption and war unfold and we ignore it. Corruption is exposed, and for a second, the veil lifts. We see the rot. We hear the whispers of the elite and the unthinkable shadows of child abuse. But then, the whistle blows. The World Cup starts. Next trend drops. We are conditioned to forget. We trade our outrage for entertainment, every single time. The most dangerous part isn't the system outside, it's the default setting inside. The spell is already part of you. We are just trying to survive a system that doesn't even make sense anymore. We've become comfortable in the cage because we've forgotten what the sky looks like. Breaking the spell isn't fighting the world. It's becoming aware of what you accept as truth, what you consume, what you repeat, what you feel. Because every thought is a command. If you're starting to see beyond the spell, you're already changing. Comment code or access the link in bio, because the next step is learning how to write the code of your own reality.
I don't know. To be honest with you, when it comes to these releases, what's the agenda behind it? I'm waiting on that Spielberg movie. Drops in, I think it's June 12th, Disclosure. See what that's about. It looks very interesting. Might be some breadcrumbs in there. Who knows?
Why the UFO and UAP phenomenon is from the devil. In 1884, Pope Leo XIII had a terrifying vision. He was saying mass with a group of cardinals and bishops when all of a sudden he turned ghostly pale and fell on the floor in ecstasy. The other people at the mass thought he was dead, but in reality he was experiencing a terrifying vision. In this vision, God was approached by the devil, and the devil told God, "I can destroy your church." Very similar to a scene like from the book of Job. God told the devil, "Oh, you can do that? How are you going to do that?" And the devil said, "I need more time, 75 to 100 years. I need more power, and I need those who are following me also to have more power." God told the devil, "You have the time, you have the power." This was around 1884. Was anyone evil and a follower of Satan born around that time? Aleister Crowley is probably the most prolific occultist. He began from a very early age practicing ritual magic, sex magic. He was into a bunch of disgusting stuff I don't even want to get into. But in 1917, he was doing a ritual in his New York apartment and summoned a preternatural entity known as Lamb. This entity looks very much like a gray alien in modern ufology. Crowley also started his own religion of Thelema with its one doctrine, "Do as thou wilt," extremely anti-Christian. Note that Aleister Crowley died in 1947, which is the year that the UFO phenomenon really exploded. You had Roswell in 1947, Kenneth Arnold sighting in 1947. Among the followers of Aleister Crowley, Jack Parsons was a chemist and engineer who pioneered the liquid and solid fuel rocketry. He performed a series of rituals known as the Babylon Working. Jack Parsons died in 1952 after blowing himself up in one of these rituals, and in 1952, right after he died, a bunch of UFOs were seen around the White House. All because this guy, who was born right around the time that Pope Leo had this vision and who called himself the Antichrist, was born and started to screw around with this stuff. Sound too crazy to be true? Bear with me. In 1991, an Anglican priest known as Ray Bosch was approached by two physicists in a high military intelligence group. They were concerned that this UFO phenomenon was actually a demonic ruse because the military was dialoguing using the Jack Parsons technique to summon these entities to try and get their technology. The military intelligence group that uncovered this angle with Jack Parsons and Aleister Crowley is known as the Collins Elite. Nick Redfern wrote a book on this, and he interviewed one of the members of the Collins Elite who talked about how they were investigating this angle with Jack Parsons and Aleister Crowley from the beginning. The whole angle of this UFO and UAP phenomenon is to slowly, through the minds of the masses, change the worldview from a Judeo-Christian viewpoint to one of a cosmological viewpoint with extraterrestrials coming to save us. When in reality, this was all because a group of psycho-occultists were doing ritual magic and summoning these demonic entities into our reality. This is the strong delusion talked about in 2 Thessalonians. Now, if you'll excuse me.
Artificial intelligence needs to be disarmed. The word is strong, I know, but deliberately chosen because this moment needs words capable of attracting attention, awakening consciences, and indicating paths forward for humanity. The Church has long been working for nuclear disarmament, aware that every great technical power can affect people's lives, and so must be accompanied by adequate moral discernment and public control. Nuclear disarmament remains a service to peace and the dignity of the human family. In a similar sense, artificial intelligence now demands to be disarmed, freed from logics that turn it into an instrument of domination, exclusion, and death. Like nuclear energy, it must be at the service of all and of the common good. Decisions about technology must never be separated from conscience and responsibility. Let us not sleep as others do, admonished the Apostle Paul, but let us keep awake. Such vigilance is necessary today.
Today, the Pentagon and the Trump administration just released some new declassified information talking about extraterrestrial entities, where it shows a humanoid entity hovering over the Sequoia National Park in 2015. Now, when you look at the footage of the classification, it shows you a plasmoid, which is basically a direct emulation of an Etherian. So this is basically correlated to the movie Silver Surfer, because the entity that they're showing you in the video looks like a direct emulation of the Silver Surfer. So that's why, you know, as far as the movies is nothing but modern day hieroglyphics. Now, based on my logical assertions, this UAP footage is serving as a warning, because remember in the Fantastic Four movie, you had the Silver Surfer that showed up in Times Square and gave a warning to humanity. Because one thing you got to understand about the Fantastic Four is the embodiment of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, which is also equated to the 4 basic elements, which is earth, air, water, and fire, that collaborates with ether, which is the dodecahedron, which represents Silver Surfer. So Silver Surfer collaborates with the Fantastic Four, which represents chaos.
Your planet is now marked for death. Your world will be consumed by the Devourer. There is nothing you can do to stop him, for he is a universal force, as essential as the stars.
But with all that shit being said, you're looking at full spectrum, full disclosure. Because when the Iceman melts, that's when the wave gods appear. I'ma say it again. Because when the Iceman melts, that's when the wave gods appear. So Mami Wata is gonna make America wavy again. Pay attention to the signs and symbols, and pay attention to the algorithm, because we are in the Aquarian age, ladies and gentlemen.
All 4 of the classic ones that we've heard about are actually part of this disclosure we're going to get. Greys, Nordics, reptilians, and insectoids. That kind of encompasses many of the top categories that we've heard for so long. They all apparently actually exist. I cannot wait for this disclosure to happen, man. I mean, we've been waiting for so freaking long. It's like, just bring it on. And it was supposed to be on Tuesday, right?
But if we don't even treat each other with dignity and respect, how do I know these aliens would treat us with dignity and respect? That could get real sticky. Some may, and there's levels to things, always, right?
It was supposed to be Tuesday. Representative Anna Paulina Luna sent a letter to the Pentagon. You got to get this done by then. But now Burchett, after talking to the president, introduces a bill. He just so happens to introduce a bill that gives the entire Pentagon authority to disclose where no one group bottles it off. How cool is that? Well, wasn't fast enough, dude. The disclosure deadline for Tuesday.
They never wanted you to become God, because they fear what you could become in your full power. Hidden in Kabbalah, there is a map, a path from the body to God, from ego to I am. The Kabbalah is a map, not of the universe, but of your own consciousness. The tree of life is not outside of you. It is you. Each level, each Sephiroth, is a state of awareness. From the densest level, where you identify with the body, the ego, to the highest point, Keter, the crown, union with the source. What religion called God is the final realization of what you are. Here's where everything was inverted. Lucifer was never the enemy. It means the light, bringer, the one who reveals. But the system turned light into fear, because if you fear it, you'll never access it. If you fear your own divinity, you remain controllable. The tree they drew, the Kabbalah, isn't a myth, it's a guide. As you ascend, you don't just gain knowledge, you are tested. Each sephira is a gate. Truth is only revealed to those prepared to receive it. To the profane, it will always look dangerous, forbidden, even evil. Not because it is, but because they cannot see it. The profane reject what they don't understand. The initiated recognize what they remember. So the question is, do you have eyes to see? Do you have ears to hear? And if you do, comment code or access the link in bio and step into the next level of consciousness.
At the peak of the Cold War, the CIA uncovered a source who claimed to have found an ancient Babylonian artifact capable of generating temporal portals with the ability to see through time. After
They say that's why we went to Afghanistan. We went over there because they had some things that the U.S. government was like, nah, we don't like that. We need that up off Stargate type stuff. We need that, big homie. That's what they went over there and treated them like the little homie. Who knows? Some people say it's for oil. Some people say it could have been for Nimrod. A lot of different speculation going on there.
recovering the crystalline artifact from the Baghdad Museum raid, Project Looking Glass shifted to Phase 2, construction of a temporal aperture device. The Nevada desert was chosen as the home for the device. Under the guise of nuclear weapons testing, we were able to construct the aperture in complete secrecy. 200,000 tons of structural steel were used, along with 212,000 cubic yards of concrete. The crystalline artifact was stabilized with argon gas. Operators were specially trained psych operatives who were given a combination of psychedelic and emotion-suppressive drugs. This was a necessary component in order to activate and operate the device and focus on specific time periods, past or future. December 12, 1979, first test activation. 3 operators exposed to unfiltered timeline data disappeared upon activation. All clinical staff experienced temporal displacement, with some reporting crossing their own timelines. The project was immediately suspended. The device showed us things, probabilities, warnings. In 2012, it revealed something that forced total shutdown. This footage is all that remains.
What is The Truman Show really all about?
This is part 2. Part 1 goes into the Gnosticism symbolism throughout the movie.
On the surface, media satire about reality TV. Beneath that, a film that follows a man through a Freemasonic initiation ritual. But there's one more layer we need to talk about. You, the audience. Throughout the entire film, we're not just watching Truman. We're watching the people who have watched him since birth. They're complicit, they're entertained, they're addicted. And after he finally walks through the door, the only question they ask is,
what else is on? Yeah, let's see what else. Where's the TV guy? This is quite literally after watching a man fight for his life to escape the illusion of what he thought was his real life.
They don't question their own reality. They don't wonder if they're also being watched, controlled, manipulated. They don't examine their own lives. They just flip the channel. The film is holding up a mirror to us. We are those people in the bar. We are the audience consuming, watching, staying entertained. We are the ones who witness truth and immediately look for the next distraction.
Perfect example is what's going on right now. There are people that would rather not even know and pretend like everything is normal.
The film was released in 1998, before smartphones, before Instagram, before TikTok, before Black Mirror. And it predicted exactly where we'd end up. A society of watchers, complicit in surveillance culture, addicted to the spectacle, choosing entertainment over examination. But there's even more layers when you go behind the scenes. After The Truman Show, Jim Carrey didn't just talk about esoteric philosophy, he openly displayed it.
Do you know that the story of Jesus, how it's been altered in certain ways? I mean, yes, there was a guy, yes, there was teachings. Well, he's not even that, actually. Christ consciousness is something that, yeah, he was aware of.
He refers to Jesus as someone who reached Christ consciousness as opposed to a deity himself.
There's 33 vertebrae in your spine. There's 33 years in the life of Jesus. This substance comes from your medulla, makes the trip down your spine to your sacrum, which is Christ coming down into human form. And if you don't squander that essence, it ascends again and goes back up to heaven.
Waiting many years, we know the drug works because we've taken people that were dead. We had a person given the last rites, God. The kids are crying and started them on this drug, and the person became better. It works, you know, and some don't work. But you learn really fast. It's called the ultimate test, I think, correct? You know, they test all these things. They use animals all over the place. They use everything to test. Person's going to die. So
I've heard from people in the Pentagon that the buzzword in the secret of secrets in the Pentagon is the Sumerian gods are returning.
Had a meeting with the individuals that were aboard this ship
And this particular race, they are a black race. They look like African Americans. They were about 6'4", 6'5".
These gods were blacks, not white. But it doesn't matter. A god is a god is a god, and he's nasty with it too.
And they're talking about the what we would call aliens or fallen angels returning into the Middle East, into Old Sumer area.
The Anunnaki.
I've seen that type of technology, and he playing around with something like that. What else do they have that can make things look, make illusions look real? Man, seems like the great replacement, boy. Gonna probably be a world of robots and stuff. It's really spooky for me. This world of robots can just be dangerous. I don't think it's real, but just imagine how they might run down on us. You'll be able to create your own art at the house. Well, hopefully y'all like the videos I put together today. I appreciate everybody that tunes in. Hopefully you have a wonderful day. Till next time.